Well, I was wondering, with name, image, and likeness, you going to Notre Dame, would have impacted your decision if somebody said you can make $1 million, come be the quarterback at Alabama, as opposed to going to Notre Dame?
And someone asked me that question last night at the Big Ten Media Day, and it's so hard to answer that because I think the easy answer is yes. But I'd like to think that I wouldn't make a short-term decision that would ultimately impact my future. Now, granted, if you're talking about Alabama right now, as dominant as they are and everything else, yeah, because you want to go play, you want to go win a national championship. And if there's going to be a lot of extra money that comes alongside that, so be it. But I do, I'm one of those people who I came back, I wanted to graduate, I wanted to get my degree. That was important to me. That would definitely play a factor in all of it. Because I do think if you're purely making about what you can generate in NIL, then you're probably focused on the wrong thing. And I know that sounds probably hypocritical because of what I just said, but the reality is it's great if you can earn $1 million. Because one of the side conversations from that was, well, how motivated is that player going to be once they get $1 million? Are they going to feel like they're a paid man? Are they going to feel like they don't need to? I mean, my personal belief is, once you get $1 million, you want to have two. Once you have two, you want four. Once you have four, you want eight. Like, that's kind of how it works. And so I tend to believe people tend to be more motivated when they're paid a good amount of money. I just think the sticky situation becomes, between practice and then NIL responsibilities for marketing and so forth. Where does school even come into factor? Like, where does it come into play? Like, if I've got a marketing appearance where I'm going to go make $100,000 and I'm going to do the shoot, or if I'm going to go to my economics class, I mean, is that a hard decision? Like, let's be real. And then I was thinking about this, like my mind wandered to, like, well, what's the professor going to say? Because obviously you got to play, you got to perform, and then you got to be eligible to be able to do those two things. And so I don't know, maybe you got some professors who are trying to teach these kids a world lesson, saying, look, I'm not saying I'm on the take, but I could probably help you out a little bit here and there if you push some of that NIL money my way.
Well, this is what I've maintained, Brady. I think that if you have kids who want to go to college and you have name, image, and likeness, and there's money involved, why don't you steer them towards classes that actually help you in business, in real estate, in investing, sports marketing, sports management? You don't need to take the history of Mesopotamia, as I did at the University of Dayton. Like, it helps you in Trivial Pursuit once every 5 years. But these are things that are going to, that way we get rid of this, hey, you're a student athlete, you got to take these courses here. Why not, if you're going to treat them as professionals, pay them as professionals, then why don't you have a curriculum that would, kind of steer them towards that?
I think you'd be surprised to find most universities are starting to implement things of that nature. They really are. I was just at Notre Dame. My foundation has a program that's going on right now up there for veterans, and just talking about it, like they're prepared for this, and they're preparing their players for this. One of the things you could hear at the Big Ten Media Days, and Pat Fitzgerald talked about this, was just how, the schools want to be there to reinforce and help them make the best decision for them with their parents or whoever that support system is. So I think the schools are much more cognizant of that than you might realize. I think, Notre Dame's done a good job of bringing back former players who are in different, careers at this kind of point in time, and telling them, kind of helping them with that transition. So that's probably more common than I think you realize at this point. And I do think universities are going to have to start looking at, like, what you need to start taking in order to get your actual degree, and do away with some of the other stuff that's out there. And even though I do think it's good for enriching your general knowledge and, understanding how to think, to your point, I don't know that all courses are relevant for these players and what they're being asked to do.